Can you afford $1 million house in Alameda? That's not the right question. The right question is, do you want what $1 million buys you? Well, that's what we're gonna cover in this video, and we're gonna start right now. Hey, welcome back to the channel. My name is Hans with the Gunderman Group. Thanks for tuning in. If you've been following this channel for any amount of time, you know that I do the What the Money Bought video annually. This is that video for Alameda, the $1 million price point. We're gonna cover what that money bought last year compared to the year before that, so 2023 versus 2022, and then I'm gonna do a follow-on video to that relative to 2024 numbers. So let's dive in. So what I did is I went back into the data set of all the houses that sold in Alameda and looked at the ones that were plus or minus 25,000 to $1 million. So 975 up to $1,025,000. Took those homes, averaged them out and said, on average, what does $1 million actually get you on the stat sheet in Alameda when it comes to real estate? So here are the numbers. So starting it off, we had 29 units last year sell at or right around that $1 million mark, which was actually up pretty significantly from 10 the year before. Days on market, it took on average 18 days for those to sell. That was a significant drop of 11 days compared to 2022, which I found to be absolutely fascinating. Things are starting to move again in this price point. And in my opinion, it's actually our most competitive price point. On average, you can expect to get 2.5 bedrooms, which is right around the same as what it was the year before. Bath is 1.78, which was only down a little bit. So you're looking at 1 3/4 bath versus almost that full second bath on average. Square footage, this is where it changed a little bit. You get 1331 square feet, which is only down 28.5 square feet on average. So not a significant change in that department. Age stayed pretty much the same, right around that 80 years old mark. But here's where it starts to get a little bit more interesting. On average, those homes were listing for $934,935. Obviously, homes don't list with those crazy kinds of numbers, but that's where the average said. So you are seeing this trend of actually moving a little bit away from that teaser pricing. If you track this over time, which I can show you on my spreadsheet here, I'll pop that up on the screen, you can see that the list price to sales price ratio has actually cut in half since even just a couple years ago and early in the COVID era. So on average, those homes are selling for $995,000, $833, which is a difference of 106.5%. So 6.5% on average is what the list price to the sales price ratio actually ended up being, which on a year over year basis is only down a little bit, 0.79%. So just shy of a full percentage point down in that list price to sales price ratio. So what that means is things are compressing and becoming a little bit more transparent. Things are selling closer to what their list price would suggest. And that is a trend that we've seen over the last 6 years that I've been tracking this data. And on average, you're seeing $748 per square foot across all of these properties. Now, I did a video recently about price per square foot in Alameda. I'll link to that right up here. You can check that out and see kind of what the different tiers buy you. But at right around that $1 million mark, that's what this data set suggested for 2023. And year over year, that figure actually increased a little bit by only $14.50 on average. So not a huge significant difference there, but that's where things are moving. Now this is where it got interesting for me. As I looked at the $1 million mark in this market, where did that stack relative to all the homes that sold? So 444 total sales in Alameda last year, 2023. $1,025,000 was sort of my threshold, my cutoff. Above that, 252 properties sold at or above that $1,025,000 mark, which means 56.75% of the total sales sold at or over that $1,025,000 mark. So that's really interesting because that has compressed pretty significantly. That's down year over year by 14.5% roughly. Said another way, nearly 70% of the market of all the homes sold in 2022 were over that million and a quarter mark, and last year only 56% of them were. So it was a pretty significant change. The top really came down a lot here in Alameda. Prices started to compress, and you'll see in future videos, which I'll release here shortly, and I'll link to them up here when they're ready. You will find that the higher the price point goes, the less inventory is selling up or above that number. So if this information is valuable to you and you want to take your home search journey to the next level, I've got the thing for you. It's my ultimate buyer's guide. I'll put it down in the description of the video. It will outline everything you need to know to be a ready buyer in this market, so you know what it is you need to do to prep, to create your team, to be competitive in the market, all the norms and rules and regulations and things that apply to buying real estate here. I've put it in this guide, and it's totally for free. Go down into the description of the video and check it out. So in short, the things that we learned is the money actually buys a pretty similar product overall relative to bed bath count, square footage, all that stuff. But what changed was the market overall. A lot less properties sold over that $1 million mark than used to in 22, 21, etc. And what we're seeing is this trend subtly towards this compressing of the difference between a list price and a sales price. Again, it's an average. We didn't see a whole lot of movement on the list price. We saw a little bit of movement on the ratio, but it shrunk a little bit. So we're seeing a little bit less of that teaser action, a little bit more transparency. I've got a whole playlist about teaser pricing. I will stick that up here. You can go check that out. I'm doing that for different neighborhoods in this area. If you want to learn more, check out that playlist. But in the end, what we're finding is the higher end market just isn't there. The middle market, that entry million plus or minus a little bit price point, that's really our most robust market, which is evident by how many units sold in this band of price. So if you got some value out of that, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, because I'm going to continue to put out content like this and you're not going to want to miss it. And if I can ever be of assistance to you, my information is right down here and in the description of the video. If you are looking for an advisor, someone to help you get ready to make the move here to Alameda or anywhere in the East Bay, let me know. I'd be honored to have a conversation with you, just like I have with people every single week who are thinking about doing the same thing. So without any further ado, I'm going to wrap this up. This is Hans with the Gunderman Group signing off for now. I will see you on the next one.